Your child just spent 47 minutes explaining their Minecraft world, the tragic backstory of a sheep named Gerald, the political structure of the Mob Kingdom, the exact placement of every single block in their fortress. You nodded. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's interesting. But if we're honest, your brain checked out around minute 3. And here's the thing most parents don't realize. Your child wasn't asking if you cared about Minecraft, they were asking something far more important. Do you actually like me? Not love. Love is part of the parenting contract. It comes with the birth certificate. But liking someone, that's different. Liking someone means you enjoy being around them. You laugh at their jokes. You want to hear their stories. You would spend time with them even if you weren't required to. And this is the quiet test children run every single day. Not consciously, but constantly. Love is required, like is chosen. Love is almost automatic in parenting. It's biological, protective, instinctive. But liking someone is voluntary. Liking someone means I'd hang out with you even if we weren't related. I enjoy your company. I'm curious about your mind. And children can feel the difference instantly. Watch what happens when a parent genuinely laughs at a child's joke. Not the polite parent chuckle. Not the, haha, that's nice. A real laugh. Something incredible happens. The child lights up. Because in that moment, they aren't just your responsibility, they are your entertainment. They made you happy by simply being themselves. And psychologically, that moment matters more than most parents realize. According to the psychological idea known as sociometer theory, our self-esteem functions like a social radar. It constantly asks one question: do people actually want me around? For children, the first and most important answer comes from their parents. If a child believes their parent genuinely enjoys them, their brain learns something powerful. I am someone worth choosing. And that belief quietly shapes everything: confidence, friendships, self-worth, future relationships. But here's where most parents fail this test without ever realizing it. The phone test. Your child walks into the kitchen, you're scrolling your phone, they start talking, you keep scrolling, they stop talking, you didn't notice. That was the test, and you just failed it. Children notice things adults assume are invisible. They see you scroll through hundreds of photos online. They watch you respond to work emails instantly. They notice how quickly you answer messages from friends. But when they talk, your attention is divided, and attention is the most valuable currency in any relationship. Your eyes communicate a message long before your words do, and sometimes that message says, "My phone is more interesting than you." Research on technoference, technology interfering with relationships, shows that when parents frequently use devices around their children, interaction quality drops and responsiveness declines. In one survey by the Pew Research Center, 68% of parents admitted they are sometimes distracted by their phones while spending time with their children. To adults, it feels harmless. To children, it feels like rejection. And these tiny moments quietly determine something important: which parent gets called for advice later in life, and which parent only gets texted when money is needed. The enthusiasm gap. But attention alone isn't enough, because children are incredibly skilled at detecting something else: enthusiasm. Your child says, "I learned how to make slime that glows in the dark." You respond, "That's nice." But mentally, you're calculating bills or thinking about work. What they heard wasn't, "That's nice." What they heard was, "Your interests are boring." Parents usually show up for the big moments: school plays, soccer games, parent-teacher conferences, but they sleepwalk through the small stories. The Minecraft sheep named Gerald, the slime experiments, the 40-minute explanation of why their favorite YouTuber is secretly a genius. But those boring stories are the moments children use to measure something important. Do you enjoy my mind? Real curiosity sounds different. It asks follow-up questions. How does it glow? Can you make different colors? Is that why the kitchen looks like a unicorn exploded? Those questions signal something powerful. Your thoughts are interesting to me. And research from the University of Cambridge shows that when parents respond consistently to their child's emotional signals early in life, it creates closeness that predicts kindness and helpfulness years later. In other words, the small conversations you almost ignore today are quietly shaping the relationship you'll have 20 years from now. The comparison trap. But distraction isn't the only mistake parents make. There's another one that damages children in ways most parents never see. Comparison. Your child quits piano after 3 months. You sigh. And in that moment, your child files away a message. I disappointed you. Then comes the comparison. Why can't you be more like your cousin? Look at the neighbor's kid. Your friend got into a better school. Parents think comparison motivates, but what it actually does is something very different. It tells the child, you are not the version of a kid I wanted. And children keep score. Every sigh, every excited story about another child's achievement, every subtle hint that someone else is better. Psychological research shows that when parents frequently compare children to others, it directly reduces their self-worth. The child internalizes a painful belief. I'm only valuable if I become someone else. And eventually, something tragic happens. They stop showing you who they really are, because they already know you're looking for someone different. The hidden scorecard. Children are constantly collecting data. Not about rules, not about discipline, about something far more important: how much you enjoy them. Every time you laugh at their joke, every time you ignore their story, every time you compare them to someone else, they're updating an invisible scorecard. And that scorecard eventually determines something surprising. Whether they call you at 25 years old or only visit on mandatory holidays. But this story isn't finished, because there's another mistake parents make that shuts down communication almost instantly. A mistake that turns simple conversations into emotional dead ends. And most parents do it without even realizing it. In the next part, we'll look at the moment children stop sharing their thoughts with their parents. The surprising reason celebrating a child's weirdness builds confidence. And the powerful psychological trick that can instantly make your child feel valued. Because sometimes the most important parenting question isn't, do you love your child? It's something much quieter. Do they believe you actually like them?